Alright, guys, we're going to go over some of the Nasdaq price action. Now, today is kind of one of those days where, realistically, you can do or do without trading today. Maybe you made a little money off the open. Maybe you kind of caught a little bit of a short, but ultimately, we're not really doing anything. So what we're looking at is a 10-day chart. We're looking at the 30-minute time frame. A couple of key levels of interest that I'm focusing on. Again, not really getting too excited about the price action until we kind of break out of this channel. So if you kind of look at the channel we've been in for the previous 2 days, we had a little bit of a gap up yesterday, and then this is where we currently stand now. Okay, so a whole lot of sideways action here, a little bit to the top of the range, back down to the bottom, a little bit of a grind to the top of the range. Realistically, what I want to see is I want to see us break through 19,152. 19,152, we were rejected just shy of that today, right around that price action. I want to kind of show you exactly where I'm getting that level from. If we kind of go back a couple of weeks here and we look at this big nasty red day, right? So we had highs of 20,044 and then we had a big sell-off. Okay, so I want you guys to kind of see, where that day kind of closed off at. Right here we had a little bit of a gap down, and then you can see in the after hours we kind of traded back up to that level. Now when we traded back up to that level, this acted again. Let me change the color here. You can see that we kind of had resistance right here in this range, right? So this is going to be an area of interest for me, because if we sold off, we lost this level here, we kind of gapped down, we tried to bounce, there was a failure rejection here, and then we had a big sell-off. Okay, now if we kind of look at where else this level came into play, we'll notice how when we had the big pop day here, right, this big move up, the day of the announcement of the, what was it, 60-day no tariffs, we kind of stopped right here on a 30-minute time frame, back to back. Okay, back to back stops there, and then before we kind of blew that top off, and then when we came back down, right, a little bit of a break and retest to potentially go higher, we did not. So on this kind of back turn here, we had a little bit of more rejection before starting to sell off again. So this area has come into play not only once, twice, 3 times, and then you can also see between yesterday and today, we kind of, swept that area, sold off, and then today we kind of touched that area again. So 19,152, if we want to see the bulls start to wake up here a little bit, we're going to need to break 19,152. We're going to need to kind of pull back in this area, a little break and retest, and then I would be fully targeting 19,310, which is going back to Wednesday's highs. Okay, so ultimately that's also going to match up with, and I'll put it on the chart right now, that's going to match up with your daily 20. So if I add a daily 20 SMA here just to kind of see where that supply zone rests, you're going to see, let me change this to a daily 20, and my 20 SMA is always purple, so we will make it purple. We'll change the width to 2 so I can see it a little bit here. And you're going to see where that daily 20 lies. Okay, so that daily 20 is going to lie right here, just right over that 19,152. So ultimately, I want to see 152s broken. I want to see the daily 20 SMA broken. I want to see this area hold. And then I have full intentions of testing 310s. So if we get over 310s, same kind of story here. This will be a little bit of a range. Okay, over 310s, I would expect fully for 150s to try to hold, and then that should give us a clean break up towards our next area of resistance, which is going to be 19,650 and 19,850. Those would be the next 2 targets that we would try to be going at. One thing that I do want to keep in mind is that we are forming, okay, off of this big move, we are forming a big uptrend here, a big kind of flag pattern. So if this really starts to break down, then all of that kind of goes out the window. Okay, so if we start to lose this area to the downside, we're going to have this support here at 18,720s. Any break and close below 720s, we want to start attacking. We want to start attacking that move to the downside. Okay, so those would be the areas that you're going to be looking for here. Any breakdown through 700s, 720s, we want to see some consolidation, maybe even a little bit of a flag pattern, and then we want to fully start to attack 18,300. That would be the area that we would be looking for here, even with, coming all the way back down to 18,300. Still kind of puts us in overall bullish context. Again, that might be a little bit better of a spot for us to kind of draw a trend line. If I was to move that from these lows here and kind of go this way with it, you can kind of ultimately see, right? Let's kind of adjust this a little bit here. Again, these are going to be very discretionary, depending on if you're going to go from an absolute bottom wick, so you're going to get all 4 touch points here. But you could actually see us sweeping through 300s all the way down to, even 18,000. And then that's going to also correspond with this, kind of pullback that we had here going back to last Thursday, right? Off the big run up, 50% retracement off that run up, found some support here that would kind of align with a breakdown through 300s. And then you can see potentially that uptrend, a bigger uptrend, kind of continue to go. So depending on which way the market wants to go, this is going to be kind of a no-fly zone for a while. Again, with the shorter trading week this week because of Good Friday, and we're not going to be open for trading. We got a long 3-day weekend. You might see some distribution, right? And normally distribution lasts between 3 and 5 days. So if this distribution started yesterday, okay, then today would mark day 2, tomorrow day 3. You could see maybe a push, one push either down or up Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, right? So again, 1, 2, 3, 4 days here would put us at Thursday. So maybe we kind of get this, couple days worth of distribution here before this move finally starts to break out or break down. So again, just be a little bit more patient this week. You don't really, have to push the envelope that much. Again, remember, you can make a month's P&L in one day, right? You can hit your quota for the week in one trade. So realistically, it's all about finding good areas of opportunity to actually, get into some legitimate trades versus just trying to trade the range back and forth, right? It's very, very difficult to kind of trade a channel. And if we zoom in a little bit to kind of see this channel, it's very difficult to trade in this channel because you're going to catch a little bit of upside and it's going to pull back. You're going to catch a little bit of downside and it's going to break back. Some people do really well trading ranges like this. Me personally, I'm not so, not so keen to, trying to trade in this kind of mess. I like the bigger moves. I like the, more of a kind of continuation style play. So until we get a breakout over, 19,150s, I don't really see anything much for me to do. I'd really like to reclaim 19,200, to be honest, which is that daily 20 SMA. That will give me a little bit more room to kind of work with here, a potential target up towards Wednesday's highs of 19,300. So again, kind of keep that in mind as this market kind of pitter patters back and forth. Now, one area that has been coming into play today, at least intraday, is if you look at the gap up from yesterday, right? Look at the gap up, look at where that support was at. Also look where we pulled back yesterday before flushing it out and then reclaiming. So this area has been acting, again, even in today's overnight session, it's been acting as an area of resistance, 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 and then finally breaks through, tries to find support, and then does not, kind of puts in a higher low and then breaks through. So this area today has been holding up. If we start to lose 18,945, you can definitely look for some downside action into 18,720s. But again, this might continue to just grind all the way back up to the top before starting to roll over. So if you are looking for those shorts, you're going to want to see some type of candlestick, either a doji or some type of inverse hammer candle down up here by 19,150s. And then that might give you a little indicator to want to short this back down into the middle of the range. I have a feeling this is probably going to, pan out for another 24 to 30, 36, 48 hours even. Another 1 to 2 days will probably be inside this range. I don't really see anything that's going to push us up today or down out of this range. Again, I'd be very surprised if we do. I will be ready for it, but I'm not really, going to push the gas pedal too hard today, just because of that fact that we are in this channel. With that being said, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, guys. Also, 80% off sale is back with Apex. You can use code D Anthony, and that's going to save you 80% on those evaluations. If you want to trade with me live and be able to screen share with me and talk and communicate via voice, then make sure you guys sign up for Evolution Traders 30-day mentorship. It's a one-time payment. That link is down in the description box below. I will see all of you new members in there. As soon as we get to about 15 members, we will lock it out for the month. Right now, we've got about 4 or 5 members in there that are already trading. So again, we will put the cap on that at 15 people, and it will be rolling 30-day classes starting every 30 days. So if you want to hop in for this first class, again, your 30 days will start from whenever you guys sign up. I will see all of you guys on the next video.